we got called because my lovely producers are just such great sales ladies, and they get all the jobs. And we took a very small job for Smart Recruiters. Smart Recruiters is a recruiting platform to connect job candidates with employers. And we got hit up by Smart Recruiters. They wanted to do a series of interviews between themselves and some industry leaders at an HR conference in Vegas. And it was a pretty simple job. We set up a hotel room in Vegas to look like a podcast studio. We got some podcast mics. We, brought in lighting, the DP, gear, all that stuff. And the intention was to sit down with some industry leaders in the HR field and to film them talking about where the industry is today as it relates to AI. And we get there, we set it all up, we're lighting, and our wonderful client at Smart Recruiters take us aside, and they're like, we love everything you guys have done here, but we got this other thing. This one is on a much larger scale, and it needs to be done in like 16 days or something like that, 16 or 17 days. We sit down, we hear them out, and they basically live explain to us that they are launching SmartOS, an entirely new revamped version of their software, along with Winston, a chat companion that basically revamps how this platform does hiring, both for employees, recruiters, and for employers. They're launching this to the world in like 30 days or something crazy like that. And they want to make an Apple-style announcement video that is supposed to read as a live keynote that demonstrate kind of what the speaker is talking about. And they want to use this to convey all the information about their brand new product, which is redefining the industry in terms of how these recruiting products work, and do it in this style.
So they pitch this to you on set, and they tell you you have 16 days. What's your reaction?
Yes, let's do it. And it's a good budget, and we're like, all right, we're all in. Let's go. We can make it happen for you. We just tell them we can make it happen. Deal memo signed. It confirms the budget, and then we get on calls with them to further define what it is that they want. What do you want this to look like? Who's going to be speaking in it? What's the run of show? Like, what are you actually going to be saying? What's the script? Well, all this stuff needs to be figured out. We have nothing in place at all. So we knew we needed like a stage-like space that was both minimal and a big screen behind them so that they could demonstrate what they wanted to show. Then we looked at, do we build this or do we find something that is like a stage space with a screen behind them? It doesn't really exist. So we looked into building it. With the budget we had and the timeline we had, that was not realistic. And it would not have looked as grandiose and as beautiful and keynote high-end tech as they would wanted it to feel. So then we looked at what are some things that are already built. And we found LED walls were a good option. So huge LED walls where we could put a speaker in front of it, have all the space behind it to have them move up and down, side to side. What stages in New York are available and in budget on this specific day, the one day that they have to get it done because their people are there on that day. And we need to film on this day to have it ready in 10 days after that for the product launch. So we have like 16 days to set all this up. Once we have that location locked, we know who's going to be speaking. And we know generally what they're going to be saying. But once that's all locked in, now it's like, okay, the real work starts. Now it's like, okay, show me what you guys want to say. And so they worked out this big script where each speaker has a script. And once we kind of saw what each speaker was going to be saying, we organized it into like one big run of show. Now, granted, this was not going to be happening live. We were going to be filming it sequentially, editing it as if it was a live thing. Their scripts weren't going to be ready in time for us to be able to wait for the scripts to be locked so that we could go and determine the graphics afterwards. So as they're working on the scripts, as they're working on what they want to show and what they want to say live in real time, we're looking at that document and we're designing a treatment for the graphics. So what I did initially to start was I kind of have a gist of everything you want to do, right? Okay, cool. It's not locked, so I'm not really sure where we're going to land on this, but I have a gist. Okay, now while that's being confirmed, I'm going to go and I'm going to do a deck that basically walks you through what a general graphic direction could be for all the graphics that are not the actual product. Because basically what was going to be on the screen behind them was graphics demonstrating something they're talking about, or textural graphics just to play as they're speaking, or the actual product, right? So it was one of those two things. They were working on getting the product screen demos. We were going to work on graphic treatments. So as they're working on the script with what they're going to be saying, I am creatively designing what these graphics are going to be. So if I broke the script down into all the chunks. Intro, right? When the speaker walks on, intro is the segment. I came up with what was going to play behind her there. Then underneath that, it was like, okay, she starts talking about some random thing. We need a textual graphic for that. I broke a block of that. Okay, now she starts talking about something demonstrative. I think we should demonstrate it with this kind of graphic. And I wrote a creative for that. And then I just broke it down like that into this one insane document. That was all these things. And so I worked live with them to do that. Here's what you're going to be seeing next to each thing. Do you like that? Okay, cool. You like that? Great. Now animation team, go run with it based on the general direction that we gave you. So I'm reviewing the graphics that are coming in, looking at them, putting them in a PPM document, sending it to the client and being like, okay, do you like these? Cool. Great. Locked. Okay, now next section. Repeat that whole process again. And then that led all the way up until like the night before the shoot. We were working on graphics to get them in lockstep with the script, because the script kept changing like up until the night before. So the day before, as we're locking all the graphics, I'm downloading all the graphics as they correspond to sections of the script, and I'm numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down, I think it went down to like 148 or something like that. And each of those graphics correspond to a moment in the script. We could look at the document, see what they were saying. That corresponded with a graphic, whether it be an intro graphic, a textural graphic as they were speaking, or a demonstrative graphic. And we could cue on the board the graphic that was supposed to go behind what they were saying, basically. So let's say she walks on. Hi, my name is Lynn. We have cue graphic 1. And I want to talk to you today about smart recruiters, da-da-da-da. We know when that line comes on, transition to graphic 2. And then obviously when she was done speaking, we had her exit. And then we cut the camera, stopped the graphics, had our next person come on and redid it. So that in that middle of that segment, you wouldn't be too choppy cutting. You could live in the wide as the graphics transitioned in and out. And the script was changing till the night before at like 6 o'clock at night on the prep day. So as the script is changing, the graphics are changing, but we've already done the order 1 through 174. So we're having to go in and change individual numbers and slide individual graphics around and add graphics in between, and then reload the graphics on the board and make sure everything was in the right order as the script changed. So as the script was changing live with the client that was off site, we had to be watching it, getting notice that it was changing, making sure that the graphics we had still lined up with what was changing. If it didn't, contact the animation team in Brazil, have them change things, send back as we're in the studio, change the file numbers, input it into the board, test it out, make sure it was all good, and then keep doing that the whole prep day while our team was lighting the stage, prepping for the next day, which was the shoot day. So that was all that I wanted to.
Oh my goodness.
Everything you just heard happened in like 6 days. That was insane. I had never done this before, anything like this. The longest video I've ever done is like an 8-minute short film. You know, I don't come from long form. This is technically long form. It's like a vet video. It was an hour long. It ended up being like an hour, 55 minutes, something like that. It was really cool because it was a challenge, and I love fucking challenges. Whether it's people or places or things or mental blocks or something I've never done before, I want to do it really fucking well. Like, I don't care what it is. Even if I'm not into the art of it, which there really wasn't a ton of art behind this. It was like very like boxed in, like it needs to look like this and the graphics need to look like this because the brand guidelines, you can only really go so far. So we can go too crazy with them. Nothing really artistically interesting on that front, but like from I want to fucking kill it because I've never done it. But I'm Tom Brady going into the Super Bowl for the first time, right? It's like he wasn't that great of a quarterback back then. He had never done it before, but he was fixated on getting it right? And he did. And so that's kind of what I think of it as. Yeah. I hate Tom Brady though. I'm from New York. Fuck that guy. But respect. We're talking about what could have been better, why, where did we go wrong, da-da-da. And I'm just fixated. I'm like, no, we should have done it this way. We should have done it that way. And I'm just like hammering it on this hour-and-a-half fucking ride in hellish New York City traffic because fuck that place too. As a place to live. As visiting is very fun. But we're like hammering this whole thing out. And I'm fixated. She's like, why are you so fixated on this? It went off fine. It's not like your baby, whatever. I'm like, I want to fucking win. Whatever happens, I want to fucking win. I don't care what it is. I want to win. I'm obsessed with fucking winning. Everyone should be afraid of me.